So what's the most important part of your composition? The very first thing that the client is going to listen to is the intro and probably the verse. But in reality, if you want to put this into practice, it's going to be roughly around the 10-second mark. 15 seconds if you're lucky, but nobody really listens to that long if they're not really sure of what they like in your music. And this is true as well for streaming platforms, I believe. But let's focus right now on music licensing only in marketplaces like Pond5 and Audio Jungle. The attention span of the client or the customer is really, really short. When they're looking for a track, they really are scrolling up and down. And what happens here is that the client doesn't have the patience to really listen to 2 minutes of your song, okay? Not even a minute of your song. So you need to get to the point very quickly, very, very fast. And it goes back as well to streaming platforms like Spotify or whatever it is that you're using to have your music on. When you want somebody to listen to your track, you better get to the point as well quickly, because apparently, I can't remember where I read it, but the attention span as well, or how much people listen to new music on Spotify before they decide to skip to another song, I believe it's 9 seconds. I could be wrong. I don't really specialize on streaming platforms, but it was a curious fact that stuck with me, because I said, like, well, that's really similar to music licensing. The client is looking for a track, and let's say that he's here, okay, and he sees like, okay, I'm looking for X amount of music here. Let me just go scroll down and say, oh, it says acoustic guitar loop or whatever. Let me just let's look for, not for a loop, let's look for a full track here. This one, ambient guitar inspiration. Let's play it and see what it is. I better get to the point immediately, okay?
Pond5.
It sets the tone, okay? And the whole track is going to go around that, pretty much. It's just going to be a build-up, really. So that's, it should be really, really quickly, you know what the essence of the track is. But that was a bad example, actually, because it's an ambient track. Let's go somewhere else. There's a lot of loops here, of course. I should have done this in advance. Okay, motivational life. Let's see what this is. The track develops itself in there, meaning that there's a melody, there's a build-up of some sort. There should be a chord change in the middle somehow. But the very first seconds is really important to catch their attention. And this is true for any type of music that you have. Let me go here to my SoundCloud very quickly. So I have this here, feel good and carefree pop. It should get to the point really fast, okay? So let's see how it sounds the very first few seconds. But around second 20 is when everything kicks in, meaning the bass and the drums, but it's just supporting the main idea. So from the beginning, you get a sense of where this is going. Let's grab another track around here. Let's see, randomly, family and friends, okay? What does that mean, family and friends? I'm expecting something feel good, carefree kind of vibe, so let's see. So really around second 12 or something. You don't have to be so mathematical about it. It's just a way of seeing how fast you can get to the point. The same goes for other tracks here. Let's see what else I have here. I have a lot of acoustic, as you know. I still need to build my SoundCloud account better. Let's see what else I have here. Family at the fun fair, another family kind of oriented track. Let's see what this is and how quick can I get to the point, or at least in the very first few seconds, if you can get the idea of what I'm trying to convey here. What's the message of the track? It's all downhill from here. It's second 10, and it just obviously some melodies and some stuff. But from the very beginning, those first 10 seconds or so are so crucial, so important for you to grab the attention. The message is there. It's really, really predictable of what's going to happen afterwards. It's up to us, the composer, to really develop that track. Okay. Now, if I fast forward this track, it should be really predictable of what's going on afterwards. It's just one of those things. It's really important to understand this. Now, obviously, if you're doing cinematic music, which is just a little bit of an intro, like the first track that I showed you, the ambient track, it has a little bit of a build-up. And let's go back to that one very quickly, actually. Where is it? And you can see by the waveform, it has a build-up, and then I'm guessing that there's some drums kicking in. So let's listen very quickly.
Pan 5.
This is like the ice in the cake, this is just like sprinkling stuff on top of that music track. The essence of that music track is the guitar in the beginning. This is more like an ambient track. It's almost like kind of cinematic. So if it's a cinematic track, it's going to be building up slowly to some kind of ecstasy, if you will, or some kind of release. And that's different, but still it follows the same kind of a formula that from the get-go, you need to catch their attention. You need to be able to say, this music track is like this, and from the very first few seconds, this is what I'm presenting to you. This is what this track is all about. Because I speak a lot about how quick can we get to the point with music licensing, with our compositions, with our tracks, and the message that we want to convey here, and the message that we want to say with our music, and understand that you have to put yourself in the shoes of the client. You always have to put yourself in the shoes of the client, of how they are scrolling up and down, and they see the name, and then they say, okay, let me play this track. But if it doesn't really give me that first thing that they're looking for, if they're thinking in their heads, I'm not looking for that, even though I'm looking for a rock track, and if it doesn't give them that immediately, they're gonna go away and start looking for some other music tracks. So you have to always keep that in mind. Keep yourself in check when it comes down to composition, and say, how can I get to the point as fast as possible, so the client, when it's listening and scrolling up and down like this, they read the title and they say, hold on a second, let me listen to this track. Oh, what does it say here? Warm and easy going acoustic. It better get to the point very quickly. And as soon as I press play, it should be that, okay? That right there, that's the essence of that composition. Everything else is just a melody, something to support the main idea, but the music track is just that. And that particular music track most likely was composed like that on a loop, all right? I've spoken about this before, about how I like to compose on a loop, and that's the main idea right there, that loop. Everything else comes from that 4-chord progression or whatever it was, and it's just built up on a melody, some percussion, some hand claps, some shakers. But the essence of the music track is that. So when I say, okay, it's a warm and easy going acoustic, it better do what it says on the tin. So again, thank you very much for all the love and support. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet. If you are new to music licensing, download my free guide, link in the description. And as always, rock and roll, and here's to your success.